Hello and welcome to Talk Bowling, episode 62. I'm John Condon.
I'm Tony Rucco. Talk Bowling is proud to be bringing you the latest information from the bowling industry, bowling tips, and updates on the largest internet bowling website, bowlingball.com.
Right.
Here we go. I'm not going to ask you how you bowled last night.
Thank you. I bowled really, really bad.
So we'll leave it at that. He told me to ask it on air, but I
luckily asked beforehand and reminded me how bad I bowled.
So.
That was horrible. Wow. Let's get into the first question from Jon B to get off of my pain.
Off of this John onto another John.
Jon B. Hey guys, I'm a bowler from Canton, Ohio. I'm just wondering why Lane 1 Elite and Lane Master balls are so expensive. And if they're so good, why aren't the pros throwing them? A really good question.
It is a good question. I'm going to be very nice on this one. If you read my notes, you'll see how nice I'm going to be. All right, Lane 1 and Lane Masters are smaller privately owned companies. So initially their production costs are going to be a little higher than the big guys who have these huge production facilities. Also, both of those companies, they do pride themselves on a higher quality product. Lane Masters especially, their product, it was something like they didn't use any filler material. Like they used urethane or resin all the way through to the core, which obviously makes the ball much more expensive. Normally you have an outer shell, which is the material of the ball, and then you have some kind of filler material in between that and the core. They didn't do that. So they do pride themselves on a higher quality product. The
Lane 1 had the huge buzz of 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, Lane 1 was always very expensive. And they have come down quite a bit. If you check out on bowlingball.com, Lane 1 product, it's competitive with all the other brands. He's tried to remarket the way his product is sold. So his stuff has come down a little bit. As for Elite, they're a private label company, and they just set their prices where they want them. So I'm not going to say whether that product is worth $200 and something or not.
I think a lot of it comes down to some people equate price they pay for something for quality or performance.
Sure.
Whether it's true or not, that's kind of up to the individual that paid that kind of money for the product.
From what I've heard, their product is run of the mill. I've never thrown one. I don't know for sure. As for your question about why the pros aren't throwing them, none of those companies are product registered with the PBA. The PBA guys can't just throw whatever they want. The product they use has to be registered. For it to be registered, the manufacturer has to pay a large sum of money to be registered. So at one point, Elite actually was, and it did make TV a couple times. Lane 1 hasn't been for years. I don't think they have been for maybe 10 years or so. And Lane Masters never has been, to my knowledge. So that's why you don't see the pros throwing them. So, good question.
And it makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Second question is from Frank H. Why is it so hard to get bowlers to join a sport league? We tried at our local bowling center and only had 4 people show up. I personally like the challenge of sport patterns. Is there a better way to promote the league? Is it because of the cost of running a sport league or the fear of the drop in average? I would like to know your guys' opinion on sport bowling. Maybe people in Florida are different than people here in Hickory, North Carolina.
You gotta get the head shake. That's what our show notes, Frank, say, that we both really love Hickory, North Carolina. We've never been. But it's because of Jon Reap from Last Comic Standing a few years ago. That guy cracked me up.
Yeah,
didn't he win?
Yeah, he ended up winning.
Yeah, he did the Hickory. You gotta get the Hickory. So I hope it's the same Hickory, otherwise we look like morons. But I'm thinking it is.
It has to be. Anyway, from behind the little Hickory sign.
Hickory. But anyway, back to what you asked. I'll give you my opinion. I don't know if John's ever bowled or signed up for a sport league or not. My opinion is exactly what you said. People are scared to join it because of their average. I'm very strong opinion that most people in our sport, unfortunately, think they're better than they are. And we've created that, and I accept it, and I think that's great. I think it's wonderful that someone can come out and average 200, 220, 210. I think that's perfect. They sell more bowling balls. That's fine for me. But overall, I think people think they're much better than they are, and they realize going on to a sport pattern will maybe show what they really have. So that's my opinion. As far as the costs are a little high. We bowled in a sport league, and we only had like 16 people show up. And I can guarantee you it was because every single supposed scratch bowler in that house would never show their face on a sport pattern. Well, so that's my opinion.
He also brings up promoting leagues, and leagues in general aren't well promoted.
Yeah, and in general right now they're down. I mean, a sport league may be tough, with the economy, with everything else going on. I mean, spending 20-something bucks to sanction and 20-something bucks a week. Most people won't bowl only a sport league. It would maybe be a second league or a third league. So it is a financial obligation too.
Does the USBC separate your sport league from your?
Yeah, you're two separate things. You actually hold a separate sport average. It's a separate sanctioning, and they have their own awards. It's a whole separate deal.
So it won't affect you if you were to go into a tournament if you have a sport average.
Most people just don't want to. If you're averaging 220 in a walled-up house, the last thing you want to do is show up and average $180, and that's exactly what would happen. I bet with 9 out of 10 bowlers. So I'm sure most people may or may not agree with me, but then again, most people are probably the people I'm talking about. So,
good point. If you have joined the sport league, if you bowled in one, let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
Leave a comment on Talk Bowling episode 62,
and tell me how wrong I am. I love it.
All right, starting less $5 a month. Web hosting from GoDaddy includes 99.9% uptime, 24/7 support, and free access to the GoDaddy hosting connection. The place to quickly install over 30 free applications, sure to help you get the most from your hosting plan. GoDaddy also provides a free iPhone, Android, or BlackBerry app so you can order directly from your phone and manage your domains on your phone. Plus, Talk Bowling viewers can enter promotion code BOWL8 to save an additional 10% off any order. Some restrictions apply. See site for details. Get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy. Wow.
That's pretty good.
I'm not talking to anyone.
That was really good. You have to do the closing. That's not. All right, we'll get into the questions from last week.
Was that like 2 minutes of the show right there?
That was solid right there.
That seemed like forever.
Yeah, I got lost and I was reading along. All right, last week we asked you, what is the record for the most 300 games in one day? And the answer is four. Foy. I was looking at his name. Foy. 4 from Troy Ackerman of Owasso, Michigan.
Sounds right.
That's pretty solid for 300 games in one day.
Doesn't say if they're back to back.
No, I don't know. Yeah, that name doesn't sound familiar, but I'm sure there's been more 900 series than I could remember now. So, all right. Well, good work, Troy. I don't know when it was either. It could have been that long ago.
Probably not.
All right. This week's question.
I bet that was on one of those walled up shots.
Probably. He probably would average 180 on a sport batter.
Sorry, Troy.
Kill me. This week's question. Who holds the record for the most gutter balls in one game, and how many was it?
Now, I'm assuming that they meant a sanctioned game.
I guess so.
Game,
yeah, I don't know.
Because I've seen many 2-year-olds go out there and just...
Well, yeah, I don't think... Yeah, that can't count. That can't count.
All right.
So and this guy probably would never bowl a sport league.
Probably not. Probably hasn't bowled another league since that.
Quit. Took 2 weeks off and quit. Got rid of his bowling balls and everything.
Took 2 weeks off because he had to pay for it anyway. I hope you enjoyed this. This is a little crazy.
In closing,
do you have any bowling balls you want to talk about before I close?
No, because I'm still talking about the ones from last week because there's no videos for them.
I think I can get those.
So
I think I can get back to those. All right. In closing, please remember that bowlingball.com is free shipping on every item every day. No hidden handling fees, no packaging fees. The price shown is a price you pay at checkout. Please pay attention to the checkout cost because that's what you pay. You don't really pay the
list price.
Exactly. You have to pay attention.
On ours you do.
On ours you do. Got that nice little tired of being lied to box?
Yes. Click it.
Click it. See what we're talking about. It's important. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks.
Bye.